So this question opened my eyes to a harsh reality, right? That we are like conditioned in such a way that we can't fathom anything else being real except for what they tell us on TV or on the internet or on the radio. The systems they created, the ones they modified to be able to take advantage of people or to create disadvantages laws that made it hard for people to just live a normal life, right? And this question, it didn't form my line of thought or anything, but it did actually open that bracket up to see that this is a harsher problem that I thought it was. That we were all somehow awake to the reality that politicians and then corporations and that religious leaders are only there to justify crimes and wars and awful things in the pursuit of profit or quarterly gains and all that stuff. Forgetting about the community that actually makes them rich, that makes them billionaires like they love to call themselves. But when you realize that that's never going to be enough for them, then you understand that they are mentally ill, that they are accumulating and hoarding things just because they don't have a way to satisfy their innards and to be happy with oneself and with others and find love and understand it and actually practice it on their daily lives because they think that money is everything. That those questions like not questions, but advices that we usually get from older people that if you don't fuck somebody over, you don't succeed. If you don't think about money when you're deciding your future exclusively in that kind of concept of success or how we call success these times, and how to interpret that as a goal for life, as a sole purpose of one's contention with reality, with existence. So we end up accepting that kind of premise, right? That if you don't have money, you're nothing. If don't have money, you're not successful. If you don't have money, you're not a productive person. But really, if you think about it, we're funneling our taxes and our work and our time to people who don't contribute anything to society. Because even the charities that they manage, they do so for tax purposes, to be able to pay less or to take advantage of laws to make it less of a burden for them to have to contribute to the community that makes them who they are. They're ungrateful because they don't know what love is. They are purposefully ignorant because they know that it's convenient not to do anything about it. It's just best to just say, that's the way it is, and nothing needs to be done otherwise. As long as I get mine, fuck everybody else. And that question made it clearer to understand why people are like that. And I don't excuse myself either, because I once or twice actually thought those kind of thoughts and actually acted upon those thoughts, but it always made me miserable. The few times that I was willingly and with the intent capable of actually putting my mental space in that kind of mentality of hoarding and of trying to take advantage of other people to get ahead, and I just wasn't able to do it, man. Not without feeling stressed out all day and sad and fucking miserable, even though I was already married and I was already with a child in mind and in that case or so it was kind of hard to bring myself to keep on doing that consciously just because it was good for me and my family, right? What about my dignity, and what about the time I wasn't spending with my family anymore because I had to be there for the job that sucked, that you had to lie to people to get over and to be able to get to the goal, profit. And then I understood why that was the case because of that question. And It's a really simple question. It's just to prove to myself that what would I have done? In fact, what would I want to do with my life, right? So the question is, if you had already everything that you ever wanted to buy, that you ever wanted to quote unquote possess, if you already have everything, what would you do with your life? And even though the question was clear enough not to include any kind of materialistic intent, but an actual purpose of life, or what would you love to do with your time, with the experience? And their answer was always, every single person that I asked was always that of something material, of something that they can buy. And my retort was, no, that's not what I asked you. I already told you I already have everything. So why do you want another car? Or what would you like, that expensive car or that expensive house or that expensive anything? They didn't know how to answer. Every single person didn't know how to answer, and it fucking saddened me to my core to understand that people that are not bad people, that are struggling the same as we are, they are oblivious to the fact that they can do whatever the fuck they want with their experience. The only thing that they need to do is just forget about what other people may think of them, what the others' expectations of their experiences was or were. They don't give us enough time, free time to just be ourselves and be with our minds and thoughts and wonder these kind of questions. Why am I allowing others' opinions or expectations or blackmails, personal or social blackmails, impact my experience in such a way that I am sad all the time, and that I don't enjoy anything that I do because it needs to be done, because otherwise you don't get ahead, you're not successful. And you give away all your experience without actually taking advantage of it. Actually doing things that you love, actually doing things that you enjoy, actually doing things and sharing things with people and animals and places and be there and fucking be able to smile sincerely without that fakeness that these elitistic circles love to enjoy. So I started feeling empty when I got that job. It didn't fucking matter anymore what I wanted to do. It was just about the money, and it felt emptier every single fucking time. And I'm not saying that that's the same for everybody. I mean, you can't have that shell in your consciousness to protect you from any kind of good intention or empathy, and you can be quote unquote successful with that. But I've never known a person that has money, or known about a person that has money that is incredibly wealthy, that is actually happy. I see them with dread, with mistrust, with regret, with contempt for things and people that shouldn't even be there, because it's their own fault that they don't take advantage of the situation. They're here, they can do whatever the fuck they want, and they choose not to, because they choose to chase something that we put value on, that we invented, and that no other fucking animal needs. And it's a shame. I feel ashamed as a human being after being told that we have the biggest fucking brain and that we are the most civilized that we've ever been. And I see monkeys copy our intentions, our negative intentions, and actually start to think it doesn't matter. So no wonder we're going to be our own cause of extinction. We don't understand that the experience is what matters. Dinosaurs were able to coexist and just go about their thing and eat each other and nurture each other and be just there for a lot of years, millions of years. And we don't even have 1 million years, and now we're already trying to kill each other in a form that's so fucking oblivious and obtuse that it's mind blowing when you go outside of that kind of thought. Because again, politicians, corporations, and religious leaders do the same thing. They take advantage of your beliefs so that you can be easily manipulated into thinking that that's success. What they do, the lying, the cheating, the explosion, the extortions, the exploitation of people, the violence, the warmongering over profit, that all of that is success. And they invest a lot of money in trying to give us that impression. They give themselves awards. They are on TV all the time, on the internet. They quote unquote go viral so that they can get likes and that they can get the attention that they so much crave, right? And it's the same pattern. You can look at any kind of sector of society, even in poverty, people who are damaged inside, that didn't know what love was, that didn't have a father or a mother there to teach them about empathy, they become assholes because they think that's the way that things should be. And that's why we have Orange Nero right now doing chaos and being openly corrupt, and nobody does anything about it because he has all of those people seeking for that attention, that same kind of status and that same kind of wealth. Over what? Over losing their own lives, over losing their own interest in life, over pursuing money and power and convenience, over sincerity and love and general just enjoyment of life. They don't get that concept because they're all about something that we invented and that we ourselves get value to, money. Something that was invented to be able to ease negotiations between producers or between service providers, and it turned into this fucking awful tool to be able to manipulate people into thinking that success is somehow something to do with that happiness has something to do with money or convenience or pride or apathy or exploitation of people who were unfortunately geographically born somewhere they shouldn't have. And these same people that take advantage of the people that they manipulate, they call themselves religious, and they don't understand what the fucking word means even, because religion is about connection, about reunification, about reuniting with our purpose in the universe, which is absolutely in accordance with what nihilistic ideas have. It makes no sense why we are alive. We haven't found anybody else, and we are in the vicinity of a lot of planets that could have life on them, intelligent life, but still haven't. And they're older than us sometimes. It's not that there's not life, it's just that we haven't been able to prove it. But at least in our vicinity, there's none, and there's a lot of fucking stars nearby that we could have already detected some kind of notion of or an idea of a civilization. Maybe their signals haven't reached us yet because light takes a lot of time to travel through space, and they may already exist, but we can't see them yet. And all these kind of thoughts bring you to the concept of what religion should be. And I'm not sure that I agree with Ricky Gervais, because he says that if you destroyed every single science book in the world, every single one of them, through the same process of thought and logic, we will come to the same conclusion. So the books will remain the same, the ideas will remain the same, because it's scientifically able to be recreated. So it will be the same results. And that if you do the same with the Bible, then you're going to not have the same story. I mean, I get what he's saying, and he's right in that regard, that the story will change definitely. That's what happened to Mormons. They got kept on writing the book over and over until he said, fuck it, I don't need your opinion anymore. Or he bribed the person who was the witness or something like that. But he kept on writing a book without a solid base. It just kept on keeping his ego involved, and eventually somebody believed him enough that they made the religion, right? And it was something that was created out of dust, out of an idea of a con man or a storyteller that knew how to sell his story. That's it. And a lot of people waste their lives on that religion because they are not allowed to live a biologically purposeful life. They are told that they are sinners if they conceive, and this is every religion, right? But I'm just focusing on them because it's so recent. But all the religions is the same idea. People who had some ideas about how to control stronger people than them got into the business of creating a religion, but then used the religion which had the best intent ever, which is reunification and what I told you. and turned it into this control device for them to be able to gain control and power and money and wealth and accumulation. And it's the same fucking system that every fucking gritty, loveless child that's scared of life actually goes through. The same kind of intent, the same kind of idea, the same kind of mediocrity that doesn't make sense. They call other people mediocre because they don't have that kind of wasteful mentality. They call them mediocre because they are poor, because they don't have things. But I've known a lot of people with money and without money that actually are good people, that help their communities, that reinvest in their communities, that put their effort and time into their families and communities, and are smiling at you with the sincerity of 1,000 gods that you can imagine. And they use that concept of God to be able to justify wars and nonsense and the inability to be able to speak to one another, because we keep on putting rules that are only complements of ego. You can't talk about death. You can't talk about this. You can't talk about politics. You can talk about religion because they told you we can't talk about it. You can, if you're mature enough to not get into an argument of getting amped up over a thing that somebody else can say. If you can talk with rationality in your mind, you should be able to defend your idea of religion, because that's what it comes down to. You all go to church, you all go to temple, you go to whatever it is, the mosque, and you listen to a guy read you a book that you haven't read yourself, the majority of you. I'm talking about my part of the deal, because I never read it, and I saw the Catholic people and the Christian people and the Lutherans, I guess, not sure of them, but at least with Christians and Jehovah's Witnesses and Catholics, it's really common that they don't actually read the book to understand it. They read it to be able to memorize, to be able to argue with you. They don't understand what they're being told, because if you actually notice what all the religions are telling you, is the same exact thing: love yourself, love your community, and prosper that way. But if we don't love ourselves, then it's going to be really hard for somebody else to love us, and for us to be able to love anybody else, because we don't understand what the concept is. And if we did understand that, we will understand that we don't even need fucking money to be able to coexist and be happy. Every single fucking one of us. Because there will be no need for us to funnel all of our resources, all of our attention, and all of our time towards people that don't contribute anything from society, that only take from it and call themselves the owners of the capital that we create. And that's their whole business plan, with all the marketing and all the publicity and all the shiny things and all the new things that they like to get likes for and to be on TV for and on shows. And it's sad that something as beautiful as acting, as beautiful as music, as beautiful as being a doctor, can be so fucking horribly corrupted by people who use it to be able to gain status, not to be able to have a vocation over what they chose to study, but because they were able to be successful that way, to get money, to get power, to get importance, to get relevance, to get favors. And that's their intent. It's never about the vocation. That's why a lot of them don't fucking care about the patients, don't fucking care about their clients and their even their business partners. Because all they see is a piece of paper that will let them be able to control more people. We arrive and we get the feeling of completion in that, but then we start feeling empty, and that's how I felt for a lot of months. It's how I felt, and it's not possible to be that creative or that sincere if you have that I'm not sure if call it emptiness, but it does feel emptiness. It feels like emptiness inside, and it's worrying, and it's sad, and it's not possible to be happy in that mindset, because you only care about, no matter what you do, you only care about a piece of paper that again we give value to. We are the most successful fucking monkey ever, and we give value to something and use it to be able to control people and to force poverty on a lot of people and death because they can't eat. And it's fucking sad that we keep on telling ourselves that that's success. We keep pushing our children to study things that they don't want to study. We keep pushing them towards with money, and it's sad to. I understand the intention. You don't want your kid to suffer and to go through hard things, but we all have to find our way. We all have to find what we love to do so that we are able to be great at it. At least that's my experience. I'm not saying that I'm a great musician. I'm not even consider myself a musician. I consider myself a good song maker. That's it. I analyze the thing and I go and do it. And I like that process. I don't like the process of recording. I don't like the expectation of me being successful just because people hear me. I don't care if you listen to the songs. It doesn't matter to me. I put it out there because they help me in a way. So I hope it helps somebody else. And it's very, very important for me to be able to give that knowledge to my child. And I understand the intention again of wanting them to be secure financially, but it's not the most important thing. I promise you. You're gonna regret saying that to your children because you're gonna see their depression and their inability to cope with reality because of the anxiety and all the things that come along, the stress, the depression, everything. And you're not gonna like seeing them like that. So encourage them to make what they're best at, what they love to do. Because that way we will all be able to have the mindset of not screwing everybody over and actually help ourselves grow as a community, because we are the creators of the services. We are the creators of the products. And we are the same consumers that they keep on rising the prices on. And we can't afford them anymore because even though we make all of that, the ones who actually gain the profits are the ones who contribute the less amount into the communities that they are exploiting. And we can't progress because of that, because they take most of the share, and we can't fucking afford rent. We can't afford food. We can't afford to have 2 fucking dogs in our house because we can't afford the food for them either. And we turn into these shells of a human who think that fucking everything sucks because it does, because of them, because of who we ourselves that are being fucked over consider successful.